Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. A very warm welcome to this evening's webinar conducted by Manipal's American University of Antigua. Thank you so much for joining us today. And we will begin the webinar in just a couple of minutes. We are still waiting for more people to join. We can see that a lot of registrants are trying to log into the webinar. So for their sake, we'll just wait for a couple more minutes. Thank you. All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome once again. So we are at 5:04 p.m. right now. So I think we can begin the webinar. So just give me 1 minute, please. Okay, so ladies and gentlemen, welcome back once again. So today we will run you through each and every interesting aspect about Manipal's American University of Antigua. And I do understand that you might have some questions because some students are joining us not for the first time. But please do note that there are some students and applicants who have joined us for the first time. So this is a presentation themed webinar. It's not a discussion or an interview. So my camera would be off in the interest of bandwidth. But more importantly, I would like you guys to just focus on the presentations and facts mentioned in the slides. You're welcome to ask questions, but please do type in your questions in the Q&A panel, and I will take each and every question at the end of the webinar. My name is Vamsi Krishna. I'm a part of the global marketing team, and I'm happy to present AUA to you today. One of the most important aspects, in fact, all the most important aspects of a medical school, especially medical schools which intend to prepare you and send you to the US, have a certain set of parameters to be considered, important parameters and factors, all of them which would be discussed today. I will also spend some time to explain the fee details of this course, the South Asian grant, which in other words is a South Asian scholarship for Indian students that Indian students are eligible for, will also be discussed. And let's also discuss some really, really interesting aspects about how the program is, how the island is, Antigua, and how safe is it for the Indian students, especially girl students, And let's also discuss a few other things like recognitions, accreditations, etc. And I would be more than happy to take these questions. And if there are any academic related questions, I would definitely try and take them to the respective resource people who can answer those questions. Please understand that I might not be able to answer a few questions pertaining to very, very deep academics, but I will try my level best to answer anything related to admissions, the campus, the accreditations, the way forward, the eligibility criteria, etc. I hope with that background, let's begin today's webinar. So that's the agenda as already communicated to all of you. Hope you guys have received an email or a WhatsApp message regarding today's webinar. My kind request is that please understand that most of the times these invitations are automated emails, which are sent to our online registrants. So if you have any student or friends who are interested in knowing more about the university, or if you feel that they attending this webinar would be helpful for them, please do forward these emails and WhatsApp messages so that we might not really be able to send it to each and every lead because it's an automated process. If the students are not opening the emails, or if the parents are not opening the emails, sometimes those email IDs would automatically be disabled. So please do send it to your friends or anyone who might be interested or who you think would be benefited if they attend the webinar. So the agenda, let's start off with accreditations and recognitions, because that is the most important factor for students while they choose these med schools. And we will look at what is the program structure, the outline. I will also run you through the website. And we will look at what are the clinical rotations that we offer in US and why are they so important. We'll also look at housing and accommodation and how different housings and different accommodation would have different, let's say, prices and costings. I'm not going to go deep into the pricing and costing of the housing today, but I will show you where to find them on the website. So you'll be able to go through them. I will also show you what people think about the safety and security at Antigua. I will run you through what is the fee structure, and then I will take all the questions. You can hold on your questions till the end because most of the time the questions will be answered through the PPT. In case you have any questions that are not answered, please do feel to shoot them out on the Q&A panel. So with this, I would like to go to the first slide because this is a med school that is a part of the Manipal Education and Medical Group. I always spend 2 minutes to explain about the founding and how it all started at a town called Manipal in the west coast of Karnataka. In 1953, it began as a hospital by the name Kasturba Medical College, India's first private medical college. What started in 1953, almost 70 years later today, we stand tall across multiple disciplines, one of the largest healthcare, medical, and education provider in the country with its standings in multiple places in the world. Today, we have our operations in New York, Antigua, Dubai, Jaipur, Nepal, and Malaysia, in addition to our flagship Mahe campus at Karnataka in Manipal. As far as American University of Antigua is concerned, it all started in the year 2004. As you can see, one short paragraph on how it all started and what is the vision and mission of this university. AUA is an accredited international medical school dedicated to providing medical education of the highest quality with an emphasis on diversity in medical education and addressing physician workforce shortage in US. So one of the primary objectives of AUA is to impart high quality medical education. And you can check this from our AUA alumni, and each one would actually talk about how strong and high quality education at American University of Antigua is. And a special emphasis on diversity. Today, we live in a highly globalized environment. And it's important to understand the medical realities of multiple geographies across the world, which is why one of the major emphasis of AUA is to ensure that we are able to recruit students from across the world. We use holistic admissions process to select students with the potential for medical school success. And we provide them with the resources that they need to obtain highly competitive residencies. So what we take care of is your pre-medical education, your pre-clinicals and your clinical rotations, and we train you and prep you for residency in the United States of America. So I will explain this in a little more detail when we go into the program structure. But more importantly, what you need to understand is some values that we stand by are high quality medical education and ensuring that there are strong values of diversity and a holistic admission process to ensure that we are able to give good chance for every aspiring medical student to be able to realize their dream. So any students, especially from India, because this is particularly for students from India and Indian origin students from the Middle East, you're free to ask your questions. But if you are looking to be a practicing doctor in the US, then this is a program that you cannot afford to miss. You should definitely understand more about the program, and you should also prepare yourself for it. So yes, the last point, important, it's from the house of the Manipal Education and Medical Group. One of the most important aspects of a medical school are the recognitions, because only recognized med school graduates are allowed to apply and pursue medicine in multiple countries, including the US. One of the most important parameters that students look at and parents look at is how strongly recognized is a med school. And today, that is what is one of the major strengths of American University of Antigua. It's recognized by CAMHP, which is nothing but the Caribbean Association of Med Schools. It's basically accredited by CAMHP, which is a major feather in the cap. And we are also listed in the World Directory of Med Schools. That shows that we are fairly recognized. Now, coming to the most important recognitions that we have are AUA graduates can basically practice in any state of the United States of America, provided they qualify the licensing exams like USMLE Step 1, Step 2, etc., and finish their residency. So the degree that they get, the MD degree, the Doctor of Medicine degree, is valid in all 50 states of US. We are recognized by the Medical Board of California, which represents the western part of the US. We are recognized by New York State Education Department. We are recognized by Florida Department of Education. And we are also recognized and approved by the US Department of Education. Not only this, AUA is also approved by General Medical Council UK, which means AUA grads will be eligible to write the PLAB exam, PLAB exam, which soon will be replaced by UKMLE. So, long story short, we are recognized across the US. We are recognized and accredited by CAMHP. We are listed in World Directory of Medical Education, and we are also approved, and our degree is basically recognized by the General Medical Council, which represents UK. So we have more highlights which can be discussed. One is AUA graduates are eligible for an RMP and CARMS. Now that's residency match process in US and Canada. So just give me 1 second, please. So NRMP is National Residency Match Process, which is followed in the US, because every student, after passing out of their medical education and having a degree that is recognized in the US, is eligible for NRMP post their USMLE Step 1 and Step 2. So NRMP is one of the most important steps towards being a practicing doctor in the US, and it's called National Residency Match Process. And a similar process in Canada is called CARMS, which is Canada Residency Match System. Okay, so being eligible for these is very crucial. It is just an outcome of the recognitions that we have. AUA is an AMSA Alliance member. AMSA is nothing but American Medical Student Association. It's also the member of UN Academic Impact. It's very, very prestigious. In fact, AUA students participate in United Nations summits every year and we get enough recognitions from the UN and also the other med schools who participate in it. You can please check our Facebook page for more details, or we will also send you some emails where you can get all the details about the presentations and the profile of the students who have presented in these summits. We're also the member of Consortium of Universities of Global Health. So these are important to understand the standing of American University of Antigua on the global world map as to how and where the graduates come from and where do they actually practice after their residency or after their graduation. So this is all about recognitions. Ladies and gentlemen, you can please go onto our website, auamed.org, and you can check the detailed list of all these recognitions. They're mentioned there. Okay, for all the official information, please do visit our website. And in fact, I will do a website run through in this webinar, probably in some time, and I will also take you through all the recognitions. These are not just in presentations, but these are also officially mentioned on the website. This is one of the most important things which every student and parent should know. In the United States of America, one of the most important difference between medical education there versus medical education in India is that in India, you can apply for medical education immediately after your 12th. I repeat, in India, you apply for medical education through the NEET exam immediately after your 12th. But in the US, you cannot apply for med school immediately after high school. You need to do a 4-year bachelor's degree or an equivalent. I repeat, in US, you cannot apply for med school immediately after 12th. You need to do a 4-year bachelor's degree or equivalent. Now, the advantage that American University of Antigua provides is that this 4 years is basically condensed into a 2-year pre-med program. So the first 2 years is called the pre-med phase, which you can choose to do either in India or in Antigua. In Antigua, in our own campus, we have ICASA, which is a wing that deals in the pre-med education. I will run you through the website as well. Or you could do this in our campus at Mahe. Mahe is nothing but the Manipal University, formerly known as Manipal University. Now it's called as Mahe. So you can do the first 2 years of pre-med either at Manipal or in Antigua. Okay. So students, especially Indian students who are not immediately looking to go out of the country, you could have passport issues, you might have visa issues. You can choose to do 2 years in India at Manipal, which is usually 1 or 2 flights away from wherever you are in India. Right? So it's very close. It's the west part of Karnataka, very close. I mean, we have seen a lot of students from Mumbai, from Delhi, from Bangalore, from Hyderabad, from Chennai, from Kerala, from Ahmedabad. We have seen students from across the country studying their first 2 years of pre-med at Manipal. In fact, I will take you through a few of our profiles of students who have actually, Indian students who have actually studied in Manipal for the first 2 years. So once they finish the 2 years of pre-med education at Manipal, then upon clearing these first 2 years, they are then moved to Antigua, where there are 2.5 years of medical education, which is also called preclinical sciences. So it's a combination of classroom and lab, where students spend 2.5 years on the island called Antigua, a beautiful, serene island. And we have a world-class campus there with all the modern amenities and infrastructure, one of the most secure places to study. And that's where students will study 2.5 years of their preclinical medical education, which is a combination of classroom and labs. We have some of the most advanced laboratories and equipments, including simulation labs. You need to check our YouTube channel. I will run you through the website, and I will also take you through our AUA's YouTube channel so that you can get an exposure to these laboratories. They're state-of-the-art facilities. So it's a brilliant exposure for any student who's looking to basically pursue medical education of the highest quality. After your preclinicals, you have the 2.5 years is basically divided into 5 semesters, where 4 semesters of medical education, and then is 1 semester or basically 13 weeks dedicated to US, it's called BSIC, where we prepare students for the licensing exams. So after BSIC and successful clearing of BSIC, students can take their exams like USMLE Step 1. In fact, some students also go ahead and take the PLAB exam. Okay, so the 2.5 years will finish. You will see through your preclinicals, which is your 4-year theoretical plus lab-based medical education, followed by 1 semester dedicated for BSIC to ensure that you are able to crack your USMLE exam. Once this is done, you will do 2 years of clinical rotations in the US. I have one slide dedicated completely for clinical rotations. I will take you through them. But more importantly, please understand clinical rotations or clinicals, or in India, you call it internship or house surgency or shadowmanship. It's one of the most important parts of your medical education. And American University of Antigua is very, very, very clear that we need to give utmost opportunities to our students who are aspiring to do clinical rotations in the US. Today, American University of Antigua has 35 plus clinical sites in the US, across 10 plus states in the US, where students can actually do their clinical rotations. It's one of the largest lists that any med school can have. So, clinical rotations, a little more about clinical rotations for AUA students. We have 35 plus clinical affiliates, which are hospitals and clinics, etc., across the US, spread over 10 states. And the students can actually do these rotations in one or more of these clinical sites, which is why it's called clinical rotations. So today, where do they do their clinical rotations? So clinical rotations is 84 weeks, which is basically 2 years. Out of 84 weeks, 72 weeks are core rotations, which you have to do it in the US. I repeat, 72 weeks of core rotations have to be done in the US, whereas 12 weeks of electives, the students can choose to do in either UK, Canada, or India. I repeat, 84 weeks of clinical rotations, which is approximately 2 years. A student would do 72 weeks of those core rotations in the US, where he is being given multiple options, where he can choose more than one clinical sites. But there is an option to do 12 weeks of clinical rotations, elective rotations, either in UK or Canada or India as well. So I will take you through the entire hospital list. However, the medical students who have completed all their semesters of preclinical education and USMLE Step 1. So you need to successfully clear all your semesters and USMLE Step 1, and only then you will be eligible for clinical rotations. This is a rule for all universities across the globe. To do your internship, you need to complete your medical education. You need to complete your theoretical medical education. I hope that is clear so far. So here's a student called Insha Chagani, who's basically an AUA student who joined in 2018. So she's basically from India, who has studied 2 years at Manipal. We did a webinar with this particular student. So she said, and I quote in the webinar, that if you would have told me 5 years ago that I would be doing clinical rotations in the US, I would not have believed myself. Currently, I'm doing my clinical rotation at Interfaith Medical Center in New York. So she is one of our students, and we have many, many more students from AUA India who are actually doing their clinical rotations, or who have basically graduated and who are aspiring or who are currently doing residency as well. So if you are an Indian student who are aspiring, you should consider this option, and especially you need to work for it. It's not going to be an easy journey. It's going to be a long, sustained, hard journey. But that's how the journey to being a doctor is anywhere in this globe. So this is the basic details of clinical rotations. Let me just take a moment and run you through the website right here. So, ladies and gentlemen, I hope my screen is visible. So, this is our microsite. No, this is not what I wanted to show you. I will show you the official website as well. So let me type auamed.org. This is our official website, auamed.org. And when you click on it, it takes you through our homepage for Indian students. Now, I would like to show you some details about the clinical rotations. In fact, I've said that I will run you through the website. So when you go to Why AUA, Please look at the accreditations and approvals, and you will have a clear picture as to what are the various accreditations and approvals that we have. And you can read all the details on this section of the website. Okay. I will not go through everything right now in the interest of time and to ensure that I can cover as much as possible. But right now, I will leave you with this info, where we are basically recognized by almost all the relevant medical boards in the US. And you are, once you finish your residency, you can basically practice in any of these 50 states. Let me also take you through the clinical sciences. Like I said, you go to academics under MD program, you get clinical sciences. You click on the clinical sciences program. You will have a detailed list of your 84 weeks of core and elective rotations. I repeat, in the clinical sciences section, you will have a detailed list of all the core and elective rotations, including the duration of each course. All of this is a part of your curriculum. And all of these have to be completed before you go ahead for your USMLE Step 2 and residency. So all these are various subjects of clinical rotations. These are electives and these are core rotations. So all these core rotations you would be doing in the US. Okay. The elective rotations, you could choose to do either in UK or Canada or India, or you could also continue in the US. So for all the details, you could please check this website for all the information on clinicals. You can check the section, which is, again, I repeat, under academics, MD program, you have clinical sciences, where you can look at all the clinical sciences program details. Now, if you need to know more about hospital affiliations, please click on hospital affiliations, and you will get a complete list of what are the various hospitals that we have an association with. A special mention about Florida International University, because we also have an alliance. In fact, we are the only Caribbean med school that has a strong association and an alliance with Florida International University in Miami, Florida. So I will talk to you about the details. We also have a global health track program. And these are the various hospitals where you can actually do your core rotations. And these are some hospitals outside the US. So you can see we also have a tie-up with Apollo Hospital in Hyderabad, India. We also have a tie-up with Sage GS Med School in Mumbai. We also have a tie-up with University Hospitals of Coventry and Warwickshire in UK, University of Toronto in Canada. So these are some places where we can do your elective rotations. All right, so these are some details. You can go through these as well. So let me go back to the presentation. In case you guys open the website, you can please go through the website for a second. Now, let me take you through AUA's association with Florida International University, the collaboration that we have. So, one, you could do your core clinical rotations without interruptions at clinical sites affiliated with FIU. I repeat, AUA students who are opting for this collaboration can actually do their entire clinical rotations, the core clinical rotations, without any interruptions at clinical sites affiliated with FIU. So that is the core rotation certificate program that we have in association with Florida International University. In addition to this, we also have a global health track, longitudinal track. So basically it runs in parallel to your medical education, where you will get a complete macro level viewpoint and a lot of other interesting information about macro level medical education. So this would need a separate webinar in itself. So what I would do is I would invite the right resource person very, very soon, maybe in a couple of weeks' time, who can take you through the details of the Global Health Track program. It is an additional program. So you're doing your medical program. In addition to this, you could do your Global Health Track. How is this going to help you? It will immensely help you doing your residency match process. Because during residency, after you finish your clinical rotations, after you finish your MD degree, while you apply for residency, your profile needs to be really, really strong. And an additional degree like the GHD would definitely help you in building a stronger profile. Please note that residency match process is very competitive. Having said that, it is in your hands to build your profile. A strong profile would definitely make your application stand out. In addition to that, your performance and your work during clinical rotations will also stand out during this time. So with this, as a part of the global health track, you can study more about governance, the burden of disease, the physical, mental, and social well-being, like it's mentioned. You can also check on our website. Let me again run you through the website in the interest of the students. You can check the AUA FIU programs in our collaborations as well. You can go to academics, you can click on FIU AUA collaboration, and you can look at all the details about the program here. What are the various themes? What is the preclinical sciences component? You can get all the details. You can also read about the graduate clinical core rotation certificate program, where I spoke to you about having uninterrupted core rotations at Florida International University. All the details are mentioned here. Okay. You could go through this, and then in case you have any questions, you could please talk to your admissions counselor. The admissions team has all the details, and they will be more than happy to handhold you and assist you, not just in the admission process, but they will also clarify all your questions until you take the admission. So these are some details about the FIU AUA collaboration. Again, a prestigious collaboration that we hold. So let me go back to the slides. We also have a very strong collaboration with Warwick, okay, and UK. So you can read more about this. The high achieving students can transfer to Warwick after completion of their BSIC. So once you finish your BSIC, or if you complete your USMLE Step 1, you can transfer directly to Warwick once you are eligible and once you fulfill their academic criteria. So there will be a GPA, most probably it could be a 3, it could be a 3.2. It depends on that year's criteria. Students can directly transfer to Warwick Med School in the UK. Okay. The graduates from Warwick move to Foundation in UK and would not need PLAB because you will complete your clinical sciences there in the UK. So please read more about this. You will find this information both on our website as well as on Warwick website, but we'll be more than happy to share the links. Okay. And the University of Warwick Head of Medical Education, Professor Colin McDougall, went on to say that we are proud to partner with AUA, a med school dedicated to creating future generations of physicians who serve the communities they represent. So it's an important collaboration for us, especially for students who are looking for UK as a pathway. Please do understand this collaboration. And please note that if your academic credentials do not satisfy, you will not be allowed to move to this university. So please understand, if a GPA is required, if a certain level of performance is required, you need to maintain that to be able to transfer to a prestigious university like Warwick. But yes, we have done our job. We have written and we have basically signed an agreement with Warwick. Now it is up to the students to make the most of these kind of collaborations. Campus life. Now, we get a lot of questions on how safe is the campus, how safe is the island. You could basically talk to any student, or you could basically attend the webinars where we conduct with the Indian students, especially parents of girls who do ask us questions on the safety. We at Manipal are committed and are 100% committed to providing the best possible secured campus and environment for the students. And that's something that we strive for. Let it be irrespective of whether the campus is in Manipal, or if it's in Dubai, or if it's in Jaipur, or if it's in Antigua. We take absolute measures to ensure that the campus is secure. So here, our students have vouched for us that this is one of the safest environments that they have ever studied in. So I would like to also emphasize on the fact that we have 65% girl students on campus. 2 out of 3 students are girls. So these are some of the current students, and these are what they have said in some of the previous webinars. And we will be conducting more webinars with more students where they can share their experiences about the island and about their experience in AUA as well as in Antigua. So if you look at Amisha, she has told me, I have traveled extensively across the island. I have never felt the need to have someone around me to feel safe. I feel the entire campus in Antigua in general to be totally safe for students. And you can look at what they have to say. And similarly, you can please attend the webinars. If anyone's concerned about the safety, please talk to us and we will try and patch you with the representatives from the university directly on the island, whom you would be interacting day in and day out. And they would be very, very happy to, clarify all your concerns. And I, as a father and I, as a parent, also definitely understand that it's important for any university, especially when it's outside India, to be able to provide the right atmosphere for students to study. Despite the diverse, atmosphere that we create, we also ensure that there is a strong academic ecosystem along with a sense of security for the students. Not just inside the campus, but most of the, so we do have campus housing on campus, and we also have off-campus housing, these are housings that are selected by American University of Antigua where students can stay. So every place we ensure that the location is secure, and we also try and ensure that the students, if they abide by the rules, they will not face or they will not have any kind of concerns regarding their safety. Yes, we do understand that students can get adventurous at times, especially when they're on an island, but we do very, very strongly inform the students to abide by the guidelines and rules that are given to them. And that is true for any campus that you're on. It could be in India, it could be abroad. You need to ensure that you're following the regulations. And then there is no reason for anyone to be worried regarding the safety or security. So these are just 3 testimonials, ladies and gentlemen, but we will be more than happy to share more details when we conduct webinars with our own alumni from India. Okay, we will definitely do more webinars in the next few weeks, and we will be more than happy if you can join us and directly hear out their experiences from the students. I would also take this opportunity, before I get into housing, okay, let me just introduce housing. So we have 3 groups of off-campus housing. I will run you through all of that on the website right now. You can look at what are the kind of housing options we provide at Antigua. We also have an on-campus housing, and every housing group, irrespective of whether it's on campus or off campus, there is weekly housekeeping. It's fully furnished. We have equipped kitchens. Yes, if somebody can cook, it's a huge advantage. Okay. Internet and TV and air condition, and it's a safe and secure environment at all housing locations. That's a commitment that we make. And yes, we also ensure that the students have their own insurance. Okay, it's in addition to your fees, you need to purchase the insurance that is stipulated and mandated by American University of Antigua. You can buy it from us, or you can buy it by your own insurance provider, but you need to ensure that you're taking the right package that is being suggested and mandated by AUA. So at this point, I would take a break from the presentation and I would run you through the housing and the student life part of the website. Again, ladies and gentlemen, please find time to go through the website. The official information that has been confirmed, that is always there on the website, and everything that you find on the website is absolutely genuine, and all the images are of our students. You will not find any stock images on the website. Okay, so these are all our students and alumni, and we are very, very, very proud of them. So when I go to the student life, there is a section where you can take a virtual tour. I'm not going to go deep into virtual tour right now. You can take a virtual tour of our campus. Similarly, when you click on studying in Antigua and when you click on campus life, let me just take you through the campus life here. In this section, you can take a look at what are the various resources that are available. So we have student resources, we have a courtyard, we have an education and enhancement department. Now, this is something that is worth a special mention. Please note that EED is a community that is committed towards academic excellence, and we have tutors that are available to help improve the study habits, time management, professional skills. And this is at no extra cost. So we encourage all students to please go and meet with the Education and Enhancements Department and utilize their services. We also have a separate page for EED where you can get complete details as to what are the various initiatives that are available for students to make use of. So this is another initiative of AUA, a very unique initiative. that students would really, really need to take part if they want to excel in academics. Now, of course, we have a food court, health clinic, counseling services. We also have student organizations and special interest groups. Yes, we have AUA ambassadors. We are also a part of the American Medical Student Association. We have cricket clubs. People can follow a religious club if they're interested. We have multiple community research organizations. Please understand that we also do a lot of community outreach activities. The reason why the entire public at Antigua support the American University of Antigua student community, in fact, they treat the students as their own citizens there because of the kind of outreach activities that the students and the communities at AUA do in general at Antigua. So yes, we have multiple fields, multiple amenities that you can make use of. So you can really, really enjoy your student life at Antigua. And let me take you to housing. And like I had already mentioned, we have some beautiful, beautiful groups of housing. All housing includes, you can go through this. And we have on-campus housing, which has 2-bedroom apartments, 3 single-bedroom apartments as well. So you can go through all the details, and then you'll get a clear picture as to how your house at Antigua would look like. So please note that the first year on campus or the first semester, I will clarify this for you guys, is mandatory on-campus housing. After this, you have multiple off-campus housing. So there are videos here. I refrain from playing videos based on the feedback because there are a lot of bandwidth, bandwidth irregularities. But I would encourage you to please go onto the housing and check out these videos, and you will get a video or an image and pictures of all the various housing facilities that are available. So people can take a shared room, they can take a single room. It's up to the students, but yes, your cost would vary accordingly. And please note that if you are not taking the on-campus housing, in fact, for housing and for living expenses, you can choose where you want to be, but it's on a first come, first serve basis. That's very obvious, right? Because you will have a lot of other students who are planning to choose the same housings. So we have multiple villas, Jabberwock, Ocean Villas. There are lots of Lady Hamilton, Breeze Point. Please go through the brochure for this. You can find it on, there is a housing guide here. You'll find everything that is mentioned, including the cost, including what are the amenities, etc. You don't, please understand that the website exists for a reason. And I've seen a lot of students not going through the website and then getting confused. So you can look at what is the cost, what are the amenities that are available, okay? And then you can take a call as to what are the various options that you have. So yes, the ranges are from $3,900 per semester to almost $8,000 as well. Depends on what kind of housing you're looking for. It depends on what kind of premium experience you're looking for. So you could go through this entire thing. This is available on the website. And please note that the housing guide is just a guide that is provided by AUA, and we have our own affiliates who do it. But the payment and the maintenance, we support in every possible way for the maintenance, but then the payment is directly made to the landlords of these villas. So all these are various housing that is exclusively available for AUA. So you can go through these as well. I would also take this opportunity that you can go through in graduate success. There is a section where you have something called alumni magazine. You can go through this in case you want to understand what are the various alumni. So this is the 2021 edition. Sorry, I think we release one for every 2 years. So this is the 2021 edition. This year we are expecting a new edition as well. So this is completely, you can go through the magazine here, and you can go through everything that the alumni, what are the kind of alumni, where they are right now, what are the various residency options that they're pursuing, etc. Okay, a very important asset. Okay, so that was the website run through for some time. And I've also given you a clear-cut explanation as to where to find the housing, and you can go through the pricing there as well. These are some of our alumni. We have a lot more alumni than this. I mean, we can't, obviously, this is just to give you a glimpse. Okay. And a special mention for Amit Grover and Ankita Jain, who met on campus and they went on to share their lives. So yes, we do have a lot of couples like that. And we also have a lot of successful doctors who are currently, most of them, practicing in the US and also a few other countries as well. So these are some of our Indian alumni, Indian origin alumni. We also have more alumni whom we would be getting in to the webinars as well very soon. So please stay tuned for that, and you could get many more insights from what the alumni speak. Clinical rotations, very, very, very critical. And I know I've seen a lot of questions on clinical rotations, so I thought I will spend about 5 minutes on this topic. Clinicals is an extremely important component of your medical education, not just from a learning perspective. It's very important from a learning perspective, of course, but not just from a learning perspective, but from a recognition perspective as well. If you are choosing a med school that does not have a clinical network, or if you cannot do clinicals or internship or house agency or observership or shadowmanship as a part of the curriculum, then it gets very, very difficult for you for your further part of your medical education, like PG or residency, etc. So it's important for you, while you choose a med school, please understand that there is a very strong, either they have an on-campus facility where you can do your internship, which does not make sense here because you're all planning to go to the US, which is why your clinicals have been planned in such a way so that you can choose where you want to do your clinicals, and you can actually pursue your clinical rotations in different parts of the US. You can choose to do it in one hospital or more, but obviously we would encourage students to take it in multiple hospitals. Now, how do students choose their hospitals? Typically, they talk to their seniors. They look at what hospital is good for the electives that they're interested in. So if someone's good at neurology, or someone's looking for neurology, or someone's looking for psychiatry, it depends on, they will talk to their seniors. They will look at the online reviews of these clinical affiliates, and then they can choose that particular clinical affiliate. So it's not too complicated. We have a team dedicated in ensuring that students are able to get the clinical affiliates of their choice, but they need to clear the USMLE Step 1, for which there is a BSIC semester, which I've already mentioned. So once they complete BSIC, the students will be more than ready to basically pursue their clinical rotations. And we have a team that will ensure that students are able to get the first preferred clinical choice. Of course, there are multiple students, so we will try and ensure that students are able to get their first choice of preference. Sometimes the order is rearranged to ensure that students' preferences are taken care of. But ultimately, the goal is there is a team that ensures that students are able to finish their clinical rotations in affiliates of in sites of their choice. So that's a little bit about clinical rotations. What is the typical day like in the life of a student during his clinical rotations? Hectic, in one word. Okay. So I have picked up information from students whom I have spoken to. I have no experience because I'm not a doctor, but I've spoken to a few students, and the day starts as early as 7:30 a.m. and it goes on till the evening, sometimes late evening. And you also have assignments, etc., that is given both by the hospital, and in some cases, your professor or faculty in that particular domain might give you a project or an assignment as an additional contribution to your academic performance. So overall, it's going to be, you need to understand that you need to spend a lot of time in the hospital, because that is your first real-time exposure to doctor-patient interactions. Your resident doctors, the doctors on the hospitals, they are asking what kind of questions they're asking, what kind of patients they see. And most of the time, it is your first time in a US hospital. So you need to observe the ecosystem. So you need to spend some time there. So it's a very, very, very important component. And your experience here is very critical while you're applying for residencies, because most of the residency interviews revolve around questions, revolve around your clinical rotations. They will ask you about your experiences in clinical rotations. They will ask you about what are the kind of questions that they were asked, how do patients react, what are the various medical processes, How did this doctor examine this particular patient on that particular at that particular time of the day? So there will be a lot of questions that I've heard that come in residencies, basis your experience in clinical rotation. So a very, very, very important aspect of your medical education. And yes, the students can choose any hospital they want, but sometimes it's subject to availability. So most of the times, just a reshuffle of scheduling, like we said, we have a dedicated team who does this. So that scheduling and rearranging can be left to us. Manipal's AUA, like I said, yes, we have our own department. And the visa, yes, that's a very interesting question. So most of the time, it's the students can, because it's a part of clinical rotations. The process and the paperwork that is required will be provided by AUA, will be given by AUA, but the student need to ensure that he is applying for the visa slot in his respective country. I repeat, the students need to ensure that they are basically applying for a visa well in advance in their respective countries, because sometimes the visa slots might take some time. We have had experiences in 2022 where, due to COVID, the visa time slots have been, the waiting time for visa time slots has also been as high as 12 months. It's not always the case, but since then, we have been pushing the students to please plan, for the visa slots much in advance, and please do ask us for what is the kind of paperwork that is required, and we will be able to more than help you with the kind of documentation that is required for your visa. So we will conduct a separate webinar only for clinical rotations. This is too early for that, but we will ensure that you will have all the knowledge that is required for you to go and pursue clinical rotations. Rest assured, none of the Indian students who have completed their USMLE faced any problem for their clinical rotations. Sometimes there were delays due to visa, but rest assured, other than that, there were no problems that the Indian students have faced. So that is something that will be taken care of by AUA. You can reach out. I mean, you can see the URL there. You can go there. I've already taken you through that URL for the complete list of hospital affiliations. Now, the most important part for some students, although I would like to tell you that this fee is only the tuition and administration fee of the entire 6.5-year program, right from your pre-clinicals to your right from your pre-medical education, 2 years of pre-medical education, 2.5 years of pre-clinicals and BSIC, and clinical rotations for 2 years in the US. The entire fee component is mentioned in this slide. In fact, I will share this presentation. Okay, and you can also reach out to our admission counselors for the fee details, and we will be more than happy to give you semester by semester breakup of the fee. Okay, so the overall 6.5-year fee, when we calculate it for all 6.5 years, it's about $293,500. I cannot convert this into rupees because the rupee value, which is now, might change maybe 2 years later. It might increase, it might decrease. But right now, the fee is $293,500. Okay, and every Indian is basically eligible for a South Asian grant, although it is applicable on a first come first serve basis. So if someone is interested in this program, if you're really interested in this program, please do apply at the earliest and pay your deposit to ensure that you're able to claim your South Asian grant. It is a limited grant, which means the earlier you apply for the program, the better your chances of getting the scholarship. And that is for $96,500. So if you basically look at the fee structure for the entire 6.5 years duration, you have a fee structure of about $197,000, but the fee will increase 4 to 6%, approximately 5% year on year. Please take that into consideration, because when you're doing, and this is common not just for American University of Antigua, please understand that American University of Antigua, in comparison to the med schools at the similar level, we are much reasonably priced, because please note that this fee is for the entire 6.5 years. And you are given enough installments to pay this fee. And more importantly, the fee in the 6th year, please take into consideration that there will be a 5% year-on-year increase. Please calculate it and plan accordingly. I'm being very clear here, because we do not want students to be under the assumption that this is the fee for the next 6 years. Every year, the fee will increase by about 5%. Please consider that. Okay. Now, here's the good part. The investment that you make, which is roughly about $200,000 right now, the investment that you make, once you finish your program and once you enter residency, please understand residency is a paid program in the United States and also in Canada. So in United States, you have a chance of basically earning anywhere between $60,000 to $100,000 during your residency period, depending on the branch of your residency, etc. So we will conduct a separate session only for clinical rotations and residency. But please note that your residency, the moment you enter residency, that's when you have actually begun to earn. So the range is between $60,000 to $100,000 and per annum. You can see that here, the earnings range. I'm sorry, I will just add the earnings range per annum here. It's not per month. So that you know, once you are clearing the USMLE step 2, and once you enter residency, then you know that this is your earning potential. So basis that, you can calculate, you can financially be ready for this particular program. And yes, the medical education across the US and Canada and even the Caribbean for that matter, on a year-on-year basis, you always see a 4 to 6% increase in the fee. So this is the overall fee. While I say it's going to cost you about $997,000 for 6.5 years. So when you look at it, it approximately costs you about $35,000 per year if you want to look at it that way. But the start, while you start this education, you can see there are 8 semesters plus BSIC. So roughly you can divide this into, also this is for medical program. So please note that this does not include, so I will just add pre-med as well. So 4 semesters for pre-med. Just to avoid confusion. And you have 8 semesters for medical. Plus BSIC. So you can look at the program structure. It's basically you have 4 semesters for pre-med, followed by 4 semesters for preclinical sciences, like we already discussed. It's 2 years. And then you have 1 semester for BSIC, which is basically your period to prepare and train you for USMLE, followed by 4 semesters of clinicals in the United States. Of course, you can do your electives. So this is the program structure, and this is the fee for the overall program, which will increase 4 to 6% year on year. So this is as far as the fee is concerned, and your earning potential, an approximate earning potential has also been mentioned on the left, where after you finish your clinicals, after your med school, once you get a degree, you will be eligible to apply for residency. And once you crack in residency, immediately your earnings will begin, and which are usually in the range of 60K to 100K. You can please go and check on the neutral websites of the US medical system, where you will get a clear-cut picture as to what is the pay scale for residencies. This is just an approximation. Okay, please do go and check what is the earning potential for residencies, and you will have a very clear picture as to what is the earning potential, and that will help you plan financially for this program. But please note a word of caution. Every student who aspires to be a medical doctor in the US need to work for it and be prepared for a long, hard, sustainable journey. Any webinar that you attend where we invite our alumni, we have never seen any alumni who has told us that this program is easy. Every alumni who has made it to the clinical rotations, who are about to enter residency, people who are pursuing residency, everyone had just one thing in common. That is, they were very, very hardworking, without which you will not be able to achieve your dream. So this is my personal observation, which I'm sharing with you guys, because you're aspiring for this program. So that brings us to the end of this presentation. We are on time, and I don't think there are a few questions that were asked. So I will very clearly, in the meantime, let me please ask you to reach out to these numbers if you have any queries. Okay, please reach out to these numbers, and we will be able to guide you to the respective admission counselor, or you can reach us out on the email. The admissions are open for the August 2023 intake, and we also have the South Asian grant that is applicable. So let me quickly clearly mention about the questions. Let me look at what are the various questions that can be taken. Okay. Okay, so there are some questions on the parallels between US medical education and Indian medical system. So I can briefly touch upon, but I think that deserves a separate webinar altogether. But please note that in India, like I said, you apply for MBBS immediately after 12th. In US, you cannot do that. You need to do a pre-medical or a bachelor's program for 4 years. And once you are in India, typically your medical education, your MBBS is for 5.5 years, which includes 1 year of house agency. And in some cases, 1 year of rural is required. So it's about 5.5 to 6.5 years. Whereas the medical education in US, including pre-med at AUA, I will just stick to AUA, will be about 6.5 years, which will include your pre-med of 2 years, 2.5 years of preclinicals, and 2 years of clinical rotations. But to avoid further confusion, I will not get into the residency versus super specialization differences. We will have that in a separate webinar. Let me go through the other questions. Okay, so there are questions on an MCI and NMC. So MCI doesn't exist anymore. Medical Council of India, that has been replaced by NMC, which is National Medical Commission. Please note that National Medical Commission is applicable for students who are planning to come back to India. At this point of time, after NMC regulations in 2021, if a student does not pursue internship in the same hospital where they have studied medicine, if they do not do 1 year minimum internship in the same hospital where they have studied medicine, they will not be eligible to come back to India and apply for NEET PG. So this is as per the NEET 2021 regulations. To the best of my knowledge, I am not an expert in the NMC regulation matter, but having said that, let me repeat. The NMC regulations, one of the 2021 NMC regulations clearly state that a student, if he is planning to go abroad for medical education with an intent to return back to India, then he needs to do his 1 year of internship in the same hospital, which is directly or in the same medical college where he has studied. So since that is not possible with American University of Antigua, students who are studying at American University of Antigua cannot come back for their NEET PG exam before residency. Once they complete residency, then rules will change. But please note that this is the rule for the moment. By the time people finish this program, it's 6.5 years from now. So we are talking about 2029-30, right? So rules might change by then. Because till 2021, this regulation wasn't there. From 2023, again, another 6.5 years will go up to 2030. So by then, there could be other rules that might come in. For this moment, if you want to come back to India, you can finish your residency and then you can look at what are the rules for being a practicing doctor in India. But if you want to come back without residency, if you want to finish your clinical rotations, since it does not adhere to NMC regulations of internships in the same college, it will not be possible for you to come back and pursue a PG in India. So I hope this is clarified. The second most important thing is National Medical Commission does not recognize or de-recognize any college. If you look at it, unlike MCI, by the way, while MCI existed, while Medical Council of India existed, AUA was well and truly recognized by Medical Council of India. If that instills confidence, I hope the website is still available. You can check it. We were recognized by Medical Council of India. We were there in the MCI abroad universities list. Of course, we are a part of Manipal, so we are also existing there. But having said that, National Medical Commission does not recognize any university abroad. It does not get into the matter of recognizing universities, but they have clearly stated regulations that if a student wants to come back to India, then they need to follow these. They need to only go to universities that satisfy these regulations, or they need to study in India. So if a student is looking to come back to India immediately after his medical education, then I would not encourage them to apply for American University of Antigua, because this is primarily for students who are planning to pursue their dream of being a practicing doctor in the US. I hope that is clear. There are questions on USMLE. Okay, so last webinar that we had, we had USMLE detailed out on that webinar, and we also I think we have conducted more than 2 webinars pertaining to USMLE. So we will be able to give you more clarity on that particular exam. We can invite a resource person. Okay, if you are a student who's applying for pre-med now, then USMLE is far-fetched. Please note that it's an exam that needs to be taken after your two years of pre-med and 2.5 years of medical education. So it's a long way to go. But having said that, I will definitely arrange for a pre-med webinar. Arrange for a USMLE webinar, and you guys will be more than happy. You guys will be more than welcome to join. Okay. So there are questions. Okay, so there are some questions on IB curriculum, right? So I think I can see more than 2 or 3 questions on IB curriculum. So I will get back to you guys on this. Okay. As of now, as long as, especially if you want to do your pre-med education in India, if you want to start off your program in India, then physics, chemistry, biology are mandatory subjects. So if you have them in your IB curriculum, then you are more than welcome to apply. If you do not, then you can apply for our pre-med program at Antigua directly. But again, that's subject to your eligibility. So please do share your transcripts or your marks cards or whatever you have. And our admissions team will be more than happy to guide you. You can please reach out on the numbers on the screen, and they will be more than happy to assist you. In case you're already in touch with any of your admission guidance counselors or admission associate directors, you could directly ask them for help. So that is also possible. The program fee has been given. You can also contact the email that is mentioned. If you want it on an email, we will be more than happy to give you. The recognition of this program, yes. So like I've already mentioned, we are recognized across the US, Canada, and UK. You can apply for any of these countries for your further education, or if you want to be a practicing resident doctor, you can also apply in the US, Canada, or UK. Mostly, once you complete your residency in the US, then you are free to practice anywhere across the world because you're completing your residency in one of the recognized hospitals/medical colleges in the US, right? So the recognition part has been discussed. So you can please go through the website and understand if you need any further requirements on recognition. As far as India is concerned, like I said, the rule right now, though the degree, it's, National Medical Commission doesn't recognize or de-recognize any degrees, but since we cannot get into a student to do internship with us because the internship, which is clinicals, has to be done in the US. Because of that, we cannot adhere to one of NMC's regulations, which is why the students cannot come back immediately after their medical program. But they can if they complete their residency. And if they have worked for a few years in the US, then you can definitely look at what are the regulations for practicing doctors. And the same would apply to you as well. My team is also trying to answer a few questions here. I'm trying to see if there are any further questions that is important that I can take up right now. Residency, okay. There's some questions on residency. Guys, residency, yes, we do. See, because clearing USMLE Step 2 is critical, and USMLE Step 2, the guidance that is required is provided by AUA. But ultimately, once you finish your clinical rotations, we will be able to guide you on USMLE Step 2 and for residency. But the onus of getting the residency is on you. Okay? Because as soon as clinical rotations are done, and once you clear your USMLE Step 2, you get an MD degree. Okay, well, after your clinical rotations, you get an MD degree, and that's when AUA has given you a degree that is recognized in multiple countries like US, UK, Canada, etc., and you're eligible to apply for residency. Okay, further, any kind of guidance, alumni support, etc., that will be provided by AUA, but there cannot be any direct hand-holding that can be given, not just by AUA, but by any university. Because once the university has given you a degree, then the university will assist you. Like we have already given you complete guidance and grooming for USMLE Step 1. We will guide you for USMLE Step 2 as well. But ultimately, you can reach out to our alumni, you can reach out to your faculties, you can reach out to your academics for guidance on residencies. But officially, you have to crack it on your own. And that's true for any med school. Now, coming to, do you have a pathway? Yes, I have discussed pathways where you can do clinical rotations in Florida International University. I've discussed pathways where you can try and go to Warwick Med School in the UK. I've also discussed where you can start your program in either India for your pre-med. So yeah, these are all different kind of pathways that you can take. But ultimately, it is overall a 6.5-year program. The day Okay, what is the kind of okay, so we are tied up with Kaplan. Kaplan is because there are more questions on USMLE. Kaplan is one of the world's largest training providers for USMLE, and we have an official association with Kaplan, where during BSIC, Kaplan team comes to the campus and they train students, and we also have an in-house faculty who support students for USMLE. Now, USMLE figures you can check on our website. We have 89% USMLE step 1 success rate. Okay, for the interest of students, let me just go to the website, because these are percentages and figures which I really don't get into, because a percentage cannot determine whether a student will be able to crack USMLE or not. I personally believe that, because we have been hearing about success rates and percentages at multiple stages in our life, but we do know that it's going to depend ultimately on how well an individual student performs. So let me still go, because there are certain students or parents who have asked me about this. If you look at it, here's the second point in facts and figures. This is mentioned. And the first time USMLE step 1 rate of our students is 89% over the last 5 years. So it's an average that has been taken. And step 2, the CK first time pass rate over the last 5 years is 95%. So if this helps, you could use this data point. But like I said, it's going to depend on multiple things. And more importantly, for a particular student, the chances of him crossing the USMLE or not is going to depend on how well he has performed throughout his entire medical journey. Now, Indian students, there are multiple types of Indian students who have come from Manipal. So for recently, we have done an interview. We have done basically let me see if I can share the creative. I'm not sure if all of you have attended this, but we'll be more than happy to do more webinars in future where yeah, let me just share this so that any questions on clinical rotations, you need to attend more webinars like this. So these are 3 of our alumni from the 2018 batch. They've all gone to Manipal. They finished 2 years of pre-med, and then they have cleared USMLE step 1. And Kudrat and I think Mansi are currently doing their USMLE, are currently doing their clinical rotations. Or Insha and Mansi, and Kudrat will be joining her clinical rotations in the near future. And typically, please understand that once the Indian students get into the program, after 2.5 to 3 years, once they finish their pre-clinicals in USMLE training, there are the students, we leave it to the students to take USMLE step 1 at their own timeline, because USMLE step 1 can be taken from India as well. A lot of students, after finishing their BSIC, they come back to India and they take USMLE step 1 in one of the Prometric centers. So sometimes after clearing USMLE step 1, they do get back to us, and we will then plan their clinical rotations. So that's how this works. Okay, so let me get back to the question panel. And okay, so a question, can I join a pathway program in the 11th grade? No, I'm sorry. However, you can please reach out to us. Please do write us and share your transcripts, etc. There is no pathway program for 11th standard students. We are sorry about that. In fact, I don't think 11th standard students will be eligible anywhere. You need to complete your 12th, and only then you can apply. But still, you could write us an email. We would like to know the details before I could give you any concrete answer on that. Yes, Antigua is very much an English-speaking country. Antigua is a part of the Caribbean islands or West Indies, and it's one of the most beautiful islands on the planet. I can also, while I'm answering questions, there are some questions which are pertaining to recognitions of and preparations for USMLE. Guys, please note that I cannot give you questions particularly to your profile. Please do email, because for one, I cannot discuss about a profile in public unless I do some study about it, and two, I also need to talk to some people about it, right? I do not want to at any cost give any kind of misinformation. So if and I do know it has got nothing to do with, so for example, there is one student who is asking about USMLE training and USMLE, if after his MBBS he can directly join USMLE training with us. So, and clinical rotations, right? So at this point, that's not possible. We are working out on some new programs as well, which we will keep you posted. But more questions like that, we will definitely try and answer if you can email us. Similarly, let me also run you through something which is also very, very interesting. You can please look at our Facebook page. And you can also look at Living in Antigua. There is a section here where you can take a glimpse about what Antigua is all about, and how do you come to Antigua, what are the best resorts, what are the accommodations. And you can also visit our website, and you can also check the photo booth here, so that you can get a glimpse of Antigua. I also very strongly encourage you to please go and check our Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube pages. We'll be more than happy to share the links with you. And let me just so this is our Facebook page, and you can check all the activities that are happening. I mean, that I'm sure very recently we had a white coat ceremony, we had a graduation ceremony here this year, very recently, last week. You can go through all of that, and you can see some really happy faces of our students who have matched. And of course, we are still waiting for the official details of the match this year. So you can see different profiles of students, and you can also see this is class of 22 who got matched into family medicine, Dr. Shranitha. Okay. Similarly, you will come through multiple profiles of students, and here you can also check what are the various albums. You can see how vibrant we are, and what are the various activities that happen. There are also Antigua Island photos that might be very captivating and tempting for students and parents, of course. So you can check all the albums, etc., for all the historical photos, and what we, to get a glimpse of what AUA is all about. So, ladies and gentlemen, I hope this webinar was informative. It's my absolute pleasure to interact with all of you. And I hope at least some of your questions were answered. So thanks a lot for joining us today. And I hope you noted our email ID. It's very simple. It's india@auamed.org. Or you can also reach out to us on asia.admissions@auamed.org. In case, due to the interest of time, we are unable to answer your queries, you can please reach out to us, and we'll be more than happy to interact and clarify. We would be running a small poll. In case you like this webinar, please do rate us positively. That's very, very encouraging. And more importantly, any information regarding admissions, and in case you want to take your full scholarship, if you want to be eligible for 100% scholarship, which is applicable for you, if you are an Indian student or a South Asian student, please do apply and pay your joining deposit at the earliest. We have seen cases in the past where after a certain point of time, we do run out of the South Asian grant, and then there will be some students at the end who might not be eligible for it, or who might not claim it. So in the interest of your finances, please do apply at the earliest if you're interested. The batches will start in the month of August/September, depending on where you want to do your pre-med program. Similarly, we also encourage students who have completed bachelor's. If there is anyone who has completed bachelor's, and if they want to enter the program, they can directly enter at the preclinical stage. I repeat, if anybody has completed their bachelor's with the required prerequisites, they can directly enter this program at the preclinical stage, and you can reach out to our admissions team for more details on that. Thanks a lot, ladies and gentlemen, for joining us today. This is Vamsi Krishna, and signing off for the week, and we will be back with the next webinar. Please do reach out to us for any further clarifications. Thank you.